Hi folks, it's Dr. E again. This is a video to discuss the syllabus and the policies and the grade distribution and things like that in addition to the schedule. So this is a video, it's probably best to watch after the D2L introduction and walkthrough and before the week 1 instructional video. There won't always be this many videos. This is just to kind of help us get a sense of D2L in the course in our first week. So just bear with me, be patient, take breaks between viewing everything. This is pretty important though, because though a syllabus can be a document that's a little overwhelming and something that you just look at the beginning of the semester or on the first day and never look at again, we need to really see this as a document that's there to support us. And especially as students, your syllabi are there to ensure that your instructors are doing what they're supposed to, right? It is a contract. So make sure that you're looking at all of your different syllabi. And part of this is also because if you're taking more than one class, every syllabus looks different, every schedule looks different. It can be very confusing and overwhelming. So this will just help you kind of identify the important elements for this class, right? And show us how to follow the schedule. I'm going to start in D2L at the beginning, and I'm going to click on the content area. And we want to stay focused on this right here, right? The syllabus schedule and readings. So at the start is just the basic information. This is included on the syllabus, but it's there and visible right at the top, just so that in a pinch you can find my office hours, right? They're here Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday from 4:30 p.m. to 6 p.m. And that's in the instant messages area of D2L, which I talk about in the other video. And then Thursdays from 12 to 1 p.m. in WebEx. And I talk about that in the other video as well. Remember that those available appointments are 10 minutes, so you can always sign up for those, as well as information about how to contact the department chair or the division dean, and that information that's just required. I'm going to pull up by clicking here the actual copy of the syllabus. Now I'm not going to go word for word because who would enjoy that? And these are, like I said, documents that you really need to take some time with and look over. But I do have a note at the beginning that just kind of says, you know, if you've never taken an online course or if you've never really worked with D2L, just be patient. It's going to be overwhelming. It's going to be a lot, but you will get used to it, right? The first week can just seem so outrageously overwhelming, but when you click through and spend some time in each of those courses, it will get easier. If it's still feeling that way in about the second or third week, please reach out to me because you shouldn't be feeling that way. I don't want you to feel that way. And we need to figure out something that makes the class more approachable online, so we can have that discussion. I really don't want anybody feeling lost. Here's information about the course, right, and about the course text, which is also, of course, included in D2L, as well as our learning outcomes, and some general information about those resources, right? Remember, we have the whole area to go for resources, right? The life help section that has all of that information, and then the D2L area where you can look at all those different how-to documents. But if we're going back to our syllabus, I'm going to scroll down. There are some things you need to kind of just keep in mind. So we have a link for all the syllabus policies. We don't necessarily need to include all of them because there are many and they are lengthy. But if you ever have a question about, you know, concealed carry or the Americans with Disabilities Act, right, and your rights as students, this is where you'll need to go. And particularly the COVID-19 precautions and expectations have been a bit updated this semester, so keep that in mind, especially if you're visiting campus or if you, I hope you don't, but if you happen to test positive, what the procedure is. So just some things to keep in mind, and all of it is going to be located here on the syllabus. Remember that when you go to college in Texas, you have a maximum of 6 drops in a course, so that's just something to keep in mind should you need to drop any courses. Of course, that is your right, and sometimes it is the best option for you as a student, but you are limited to 6 drops, so just, you know, use those sparingly and only as needed. And of course, this doesn't necessarily count or it doesn't count if you have something like an emergency withdrawal or what, a medical withdrawal, those kinds of things. We have our equal opportunity statements as well as the emergency notification system. Make sure you're set up with that, and there's information about how to do that here. Should anything happen, if the system is closed down, if our college is closed down, or if there's any kind of update, they will send a text message, but you need to make sure that your contact info is updated. Sorry, my seat keeps making all these noises. There is information about counseling and advising. So academic advising is partially online, so you can go online and go into a chat with an advisor, or you can make an appointment, right, to visit campus, but you need to actually make the appointment and show up at that time because they are just really limiting how many people are able to come into the buildings. And all this information, again, is always going to be located here with links. And for CIS or for that information, you can go to the life help section in D2L, as well as, there's information about the writing program or the writing tutoring. And then we get into the policies, right? So we need to keep in mind that in an online course, oftentimes, at least in our course, we are typing up our responses and we're responding to each other, not face to face, right? But we're reading our responses. So you want to be as respectful as possible and know that sometimes when you're typing a response, you want to double check your tone, right? Because you may not intend to sound arrogant or condescending or rude or any of those things when you're typing your response, but you want to take some time to revise and edit just to make sure that you're not sounding that way to the person who you're sharing with, especially if that person is writing about an experience or something that is personal to them. We want to be really respectful and mindful of that in an online environment. My visit hours are located again at the top. And for email, y'all, I've mentioned this before, but the best way to get in touch with me is in D2L, right? So just go up here, and go to the email area that I walked through in the other video. Don't send me an email from your personal account because it will take days to get to me. It's really annoying. I don't know why our firewall is like that, but it is. So just keep that in mind. And it can take up to 48 hours for me to get back to you. I try to be pretty responsive, but I do tend to shut down at about 5 p.m. every day. And I don't check my email very frequently over the weekend. So just things to keep in mind. So don't wait till the last minute, okay? For assignments and late work, I don't accept late work. It's just, I can't keep track of it. It's too hard. And we're in college. But I do have a 24-hour grace period. So if something is due on Sunday at 11:59 p.m., you will have a 24-hour grace period from that moment on. So you have until Monday at 11:59 p.m. to submit that work. It does come with a grade deduction, so you start with a B instead of an A, but it's there just in case you really need it should something happen in your life, which, stuff happens. I want you to know, though, too, that if you miss a major assignment, or if you get a grade that you just really wish were better on a major assignment, you'll have an opportunity to revise and resubmit some of those things at the end of the semester to get partial credit back. So if you forget to submit something, you can earn at least half of those points back. That's just something in a writing class that we kind of come to expect because we are always revising and editing and updating things. So this gives you a chance to do that with some of your previously submitted major assignments. Attendance and participation are essentially, I just look to see if everybody's logging on every week, but your grade will reflect your attendance, right? So the people who log in more and are more active in the class, they tend to get better grades, right? They're keeping up with things. They're not confused by things. They are just doing everything necessary to succeed. So keep that in mind. There's a whole section on plagiarism here, and that's really important in a writing class. There is some information. There is a link to the Purdue Online Writing Lab website, which will go into some information about what plagiarism is. So you need to arm yourself with the necessary information to avoid being accused of plagiarism. Every semester, I deal with at least one student incident of plagiarism, and many times, more times than not, it is not intentional. It is a student who maybe was moving too quickly and forgot quotation marks, or a student who really wasn't quite understanding all the different ways that we can plagiarize, because there are several ways we can plagiarize. But you need to arm yourself with that information. So I've provided those links here. We will talk about it through the semester, but just keep in mind that anytime you take words, right, from somebody's article, idea, television show, movie, anything, you need to properly document it and give credit for it. And if you take ideas from other people. So, if you're talking about Thomas Edison and his invention and all this stuff, you need to let us know where you got all of that information. Okay, so just be very aware of plagiarism and know that every document or assignment that you submit in our assignment area of D2L, those major assignments, all of those documents are run through the Turnitin program, which will find plagiarism. So just be aware, avoid at all costs. We don't want to go through the whole process of having to submit your information. I don't want to go through the process, so let's avoid it, okay? Here's the grade distribution. Notice that we have points here. We are going to be basing our work in a point system that relates, of course, to percentages. So discussions and participation are 350 points, and that's including all of these things, the discussion posts and all of that good stuff. Journals are 150 points, and that's when we read something, we need to document it, right? So we need to keep just a pretty basic reading journal for all the things, and I'll have a separate assignment sheet. I will have another video for all of these major assignments, so don't worry about that just yet. We're just easing into this. Note that we have some annotation exercises, and that's just practice for the eventual annotated bibliography assignment. I wouldn't assign something like this that many of y'all probably have not done before without doing these exercises or kind of practice before. I want you to note that we have a paper portfolio due in this class, and that's just essentially going to be a collection of posts. So we're going to do some paper topic posts, a couple of times this semester. You're going to have the opportunity to go back and revise those original posts that you wrote that will be related to our overall topic. So we're not creating a new research paper to submit. We are collecting those things we submitted throughout the semester. We're rethinking, we're revising, we're editing, we're making sure we have research that's properly documented, and that's what we will submit. I do want y'all to note that part of the grade is a consultation with me. And that means that you'll need to schedule a WebEx appointment, and I'll have a lot of different times and options for that. I know some of y'all work crazy work schedules, so I'll have times in the morning, times at night, but it is a requirement. Y'all, the people who meet with me one-on-one get better grades because I can talk them through my feedback. I can give you some of that support. It's not a time where I'm judgmental. It's not a time where I'm going to be, rude and mean. I'm just going to talk with you. It's easygoing. It should not be anything to make you nervous, but I know some of you sign up for online courses because you don't want any face-to-face stuff. This is a requirement, so this may not be the class for you if that's a concern. So just something to think about. And then we'll end the semester with the Multimedia Project, which is just a really great way to end because it allows you to be a bit creative. You can do some artwork or a PowerPoint or write a short story. More about this to come. Don't worry, there will be a rubric and a video, but it's a fun way to end the semester. And if you scroll down, it has a bit more information about all of these assignments. But like I said, I'm going to have an assignment handout and rubric and video for all the major assignments, so don't worry too much. I'm going to go back to the table of contents so we can take a look at the schedule because you'll be getting a lot of different schedules. I don't want you to be thrown. Each week will look similar. Usually it's Monday, but I give you kind of a rundown of what's going on this week, and then you'll always have a due date of, usually a writing post and sometimes other things on Thursdays and Sundays. And then in the grayed out area, that's what to kind of expect for next week. It doesn't mean read everything this week. It just means, hey, if you're looking ahead, these are things you need to prepare for next week. And then again, Monday is just, here's everything to look forward to. And then Thursday and Sunday will ultimately be our due dates for the semester. Some weeks will be heavier than others. You may have 2 things due on Thursday, 2 things due on Sunday, but we're going to ease into all of it. If you have any questions, you can always post in that Q&A area on D2L or send me an email. But again, if you have the question, other people will as well. So just post in that area. All right, y'all, watch the week 1 instructional video and let me know if you have any questions. Good luck.